Hey guys, my name is Sean, and today I'm going to talk about my journey and recovery with vestibular neuritis. Now, if you're watching this video, I'd imagine you think you have vestibular neuritis, or you have a confirmed diagnosis of vestibular neuritis or some other form of vestibular disorder. And I gotta say, first and foremost, if you're in the acute stages and struggling, I feel for you. And I hope with this video that I can instill some hope that it does get better. For myself, I'm 16 months in, and I could say I'm about 80 to 85% recovered, but it's been a long journey. In this video, I'm going to talk about my onset and how it started, my symptoms, and how I recovered. So I've had this since April of last year, and it came out of nowhere. For many people I've read, it could come with a cold, flu, sinus infection, ear infection. Mine just came out of the blue. But I can say leading up to when it hit me, I did feel off and fatigued. Looking into the mirror, I knew that I just didn't look right. I just felt off. And then one Thursday afternoon at work, I was walking, and I felt like I was going to pass out. I felt like I was going to faint, and I've never had that happen to me before. I work in a physical rehabilitation center, and I took a seat, and I had this like off-balanced feeling of just off, and my heart was racing. I sat down, didn't tell anybody, and then I was alright. Fast forward to the weekend, and I was leaving the gym, and then boom, all of a sudden that floaty, off-balance feeling hit me again. I'm like, okay, this is odd, but it didn't stay. Fast forward to the next Monday, and at this time I was transitioning into a new position at my work. I was transitioning into a facilitation position, and I had to be there that week to learn the material. So I wake up that Monday morning, and sure enough, I have no balance. I couldn't even stand to brush my teeth. I had very sensitive, my eyes were very sensitive to the light, but I had to go to work. So I go to work, and I'm just so confused. I can't even walk. I have what they call brain fog. People are talking to me, and I can't really interpret what they're saying. It's taken a while for me to interpret what they're trying to say to me. And I'm sitting in the class, and I'm watching the projection screen, and my eyes are jumping. The screen is jumping, and I have such a headache. I'm sitting in my chair, and I can't even feel my spatial awareness in this chair. And so I talked to my manager. She asked how it's going. I'm like, it's going good. However, I don't have any balance, and I feel very off. And with that week, I tried to just continue on. However, just kept getting worse and worse. And at this point, I heard of vertigo. I'm like, maybe this is what vertigo is, and it passes for people. Unfortunately, that week it just got worse and worse. So my mom ended up taking me to the Emerge. And I even remember standing in Emerge and just my anxiety levels rising, making my symptoms even worse. And they ran a lot of tests. They ran CT scans. They did a lot of blood tests. They wanted to make sure that I wasn't dying, essentially. And the blood tests came back, and I was actually pretty good. I just remember even trying to eat and not being able to feel my face, and just so off. And they prescribed me Circ. So Circ is a medication. And I talked with the pharmacist, and he said he's not quite sure how it works, but the belief is that it sends blood flow through the inner ear, and it did make me feel a little bit better until I got to see my GP. It took about a few days to see my GP to get in, and he assured me he's seen this before, and it's a viral infection. And so with that, he said it could go away in 3 weeks, or it could go away in 3 months. And I'm like, dude, I can't do 3 months of this. This is awful. And so in 3 weeks I kept taking the Circ, and things seemed like it got better. I almost didn't even want to refill my prescription, Circ. Me and my girlfriend, we go on a trip to Vancouver. I'm totally fine. I fly back to Edmonton, and then a few days later, it all hits me again, but with a vengeance. The light sensitivity, the off balance, I couldn't walk properly. When the weather would change, I could feel it in my ear, and so they thought it was potentially Meniere's. I could feel the weather change like a fluttering sound in my ear. With that, things just kept getting worse and worse. I would get this weird head pressure in different spots in my head. I'd get severe headaches, potentially migraines. I don't know, I've never had migraines before. When I'd look at the computer, it would just be so hard on my eyes and my head. When I watched TV, it was just so bad. Watching Cops, like my eyes would shake and it looked like they were just all over the place. I also developed anxiety and derealization. So what derealization is almost a form of a panic attack. And it's a weird feeling that you're present, but you're not, and you kind of feel like outside your body. So I developed that. So over the months from April to June, my symptoms changed. I developed what they call visual vertigo. So what that means is patterns on the ground and in stores. I would just get so dizzy and off balance, and it would give me kind of a spinny feeling. At the same time, my walking and balance, it just kept getting worse and worse. When I'd like make a turn, I'd turn almost as if I was drunk. It wasn't getting any better. It seemed like it was getting worse. As far as my symptoms go, with my eyes, I lost depth perception. So I couldn't tell where I was from the ground. Or I couldn't tell my spatial awareness, my depth perception. My eyes weren't converging properly. So it was almost a convergence deficiency with my eyes. This eye would almost go on its own and do its own thing. With that said, I developed oscillopsia, and I'm probably butchering that name, but it's essentially when you're walking and your eyes are jumping all over the place. Now with your balance in your vestibular system is made up of your sense of touch, your inner ear, and your vision. Well, I believe that because there's something wrong with my ears, there was a lot of balance and weight placed onto my eyes. But with that said, I also developed nystagmus. So nystagmus is when your eyes jitter left to right. Now if a lot of the balance is placed on my eyes and my eyes are doing this is how I was walking. And meaning I couldn't even walk properly. So again, things got worse and worse. I developed with my vision, so when you look and scan things, that's called a normal saccadic smooth pursuit. That wasn't so smooth with me. It almost would be like I'd be looking, and then it'd almost be like it'd skip an image in relating back information to my brain. It would skip, and so just overall, I wasn't doing good. And again, I kept getting worse and worse. And at work, my manager, she knew this. She knew I was having a hard time. It came near the end of June, and I was walking into work, and my co-facilitator and my manager were there. And I broke down, and I was like, I can't do this right now. I can't do this life thing right now. And they were amazing and supportive. And my manager told me, you know what, get a sick note and go recover. I don't like seeing you like this. You need to go and do what it takes to recover. And I got a doctor's note, and I was off for a few months. And now for the recovery process. When I was at home, I couldn't do much. I couldn't walk. I couldn't watch TV. looking at the computer was very difficult, but I knew I had to research my symptoms. So what I did was I joined, and I encourage you to do this as well, I joined vestibular disorder groups on Facebook. So a vestibular neuritis group and a vestibular disorders group on Facebook. With that, you could keyword search different things. So I keyword searched everything that I struggled with. And I'd read things all the way back to 2015. And within this time, I was seeing an acupuncturist, kind of a wacky chiropractor, what else? I saw a naturopath as well, and I saw a vestibular therapist. So the vestibular therapist recommended we did the gaze stabilization X exercises, so it's a form of vestibular rehabilitation therapy. So what that is, and if you haven't done it already, and if your eyes are jumping around, it kind of looks like this. So I graduated to a checkered background. So essentially, in order to get your eyes to fixate on an object instead of bouncing around, you need to stare at the X and move your head up and down, staring at the X left and right. So that's what I did, and I still continue to do. With that said, though, he said, I don't have much more for you. So he helped a bit, but I guess not going through this, I don't think he fully understood what I was going through. So again, I turned to the online groups, and I YouTubed more vestibular rehabilitation exercises. I encourage you to check them out. There's so many out there that helped me, and you need to find the ones that help you. Everybody's different, everybody's recovery is different, and I hope for your sake that your recovery is quicker than mine, that's for sure. So in order to get my eyes to converge properly again and get my depth perception, somebody told me about what they call a Brock string. So again, this eye was doing its own thing. So a Brock string, and you can pick it up on Amazon. The Brock string, when you look at it, there's only one string, but when you look at the ball, and then you look at the other ball and the other ball, if your eyes are converging properly, you should see two strings. So I did that for a while, and it eventually helped my eyes converge. What I also did is look it up as well, if you have problems with convergence, pencil push-ups. I do these every single day, a few times a day still. So I just go like this, and out, like this, and out. And it kind of got my eyes to align better as well. Now, as far as the oscillopsia, if you do have that and your eyes are bouncing around everywhere, what I did with this is I have a treadmill at home, and I post it up on the treadmill, and I do the gaze stabilization X while I was walking. It was difficult, it was all difficult, but I did it with progression. Now, as far as walking goes, I still sometimes struggle with it. But as far as walking goes, I wasn't even able to walk around the block without getting dizzy. I looked completely drunk every time I walked. So I started off walking 5 minutes, and then I'd get dizzy, and that was it for the day. From there, 10 minutes, that was it for the day. And I gradually increased and increased and increased. Now, my saving grace was something called neuroplasticity. So if there's something wrong with my ears, my brain will learn to adapt. I seen the ENT, it took about 6 months, and he said, you know what, he checked my ears, did an MRI, did a V&G, and he did a caloric test, and he said, no, your ears are fine. But I don't think so, and maybe I should have got a second opinion, because my ears, they were so sensitive to sound, and I could feel when the weather would change. It just, I knew there was something going wrong with my ears. And the research that I did, I was pretty confident that it was vestibular neuritis, and eventually my GP diagnosed me with that. So what I did was it exposed myself to different stimulus. Like I'd After walking 15 to 20 minutes, I knew that I had to start walking in public again. At this time in my life, everything that I knew of my life was not my life anymore. I couldn't do the things that I used to do. I loved going to concerts, I loved being out, and I couldn't do these things. So I exposed myself and I went to malls and I'd walk around the mall. I'd go early in the morning, and again, I'd look pretty sketchy. I looked like I was drunk, but what I'd do is I had a cane. There's a few days I walked with a cane. I'd wrap my ankle up so it looked like I had a physical injury. The thing is, with this illness or disease, you look fine. Everybody says you look fine, but you know the struggle going on in your head, and it's awful. Once I progressed from there, I'd do reps up and down what we call White Ave here. It's a busier street, and it's crazy. I just remember walking and the cars driving by and I'd just be like, whew, like I'd just be off balance from just the car. So I'd challenge myself every single day. And you know what? If I could only do 10 minutes a day, that's fine. So I did that, and I also bought a gym membership where they had a track, and I'd walk around that track. And again, because I looked sketchy and drunk, I'd wear like a knee brace, or I'd wrap my ankle up so it looked like I had a physical injury. So with that said, I worked on my walking. Right now I currently almost have like an obstacle course set up in my house, and I continue to do these exercises. As far as my balance goes, I bought a Bosu ball and I practice balancing on it, and just to get my brain to remember my sense of touch. There was a time where I almost couldn't feel the lower half of my body, and I really had to ingrain and walk bare feet to get for my mind to remember that sense of touch. If you struggle with that, I also bought ankle weights to just really dig it in there and for my brain to remember that, hey, yeah, your feet exist too. So I also bought one of these. It's just like a balance pad off of Amazon as well. So this helps for the uneven terrain type of thing. How much balance should you place on, your legs, your feet? I essentially had to learn everything all over again. And you take something like that for granted. It's crazy, but I seen the one vestibular ophthalmologist in Edmonton here, and I told her all the things that I was doing with my eyes and the pencil push-ups and the Brock string and everything, and she was like, wow, that's everything you're doing is what I would tell you to do. The one thing that I almost missed is if you do have that saccadic pursuit and deficiency, and your image skips a little bit, check out on YouTube the one exercise, 2-target VOR. So 2-target vestibular ocular reflex, where you have 2 targets, and I do this every single day, and you get 2 targets, and you look here and turn your head, you look there and turn your head, and you look there and turn your head, and up and down as well. That helped almost the skipping of images in my head. So those are some tips that I have for you in regards to, getting better. That was just a quick tip, but I'm gonna make more videos and get more in depth on what I did and what I continue to do every single day. With that said, I realize how hard this is. It was the hardest thing that I ever have to do, and I hope it is the hardest thing that I ever have to encounter in my life. I continue to do the exercises, and I'm at a point now where I do a lot of things with my eyes closed. So I feel still a lot of balance is heavily weighted in my eyes. So I'm trying to trick my mind and making the balance even out a bit, and I do a lot of things with my eyes closed. I walk around with my eyes closed, I balance with my eyes closed. So that's what I'm working on now, and I'm hoping that will get me to the full 100%. with that said, there have been some positives in this. I lost like 25 pounds because I've been eating healthier. I don't drink as much. When I was going through this whole thing, I actually completely cut out drinking. I wanted to give my body everything, all the nutrients it needs to heal. So you need to cut out everything bad and bring your body all the good stuff in order for it to heal. If you've been struggling with this, just know that it can get better. It does get better, and I'm living my life again. I'm not 100%, but I'm getting there. Will I ever get to 100%? I hope so, but I can't say for sure. You need those supports in your life. Your friends, your family, your significant others. I've been very fortunate that I had those. My coworkers, managers. I'm very fortunate that I work for a company that understood what I was going through. Didn't understand, but understood that I was going through some stuff. I feel for you if you don't have those supports in your life, but know that you can turn to online. Join those groups. Those people have been through what you have been through or what you're going through. So join those groups. They were huge for me. I wouldn't be where I am today without those groups and those tips from those people. So I just want you to know that it does get better, and if you're struggling, there are dark days. I've been through those dark days and it's hard. But it's how you pick yourself up the next day. So I hope this video instills some hope and some tips. If you need some more help, please leave a comment and I will try to get back to you as quick as possible in any way that I can help you. And stay tuned for more tips on how I got better, and I'll do an update hopefully when I get closer to 100%. Take care. Thanks.